Welcome back to Dum Dum's 2099, where improvisers who've never roleplayed before journey into a futuristic world of Dungeons and Dragons. I am the Grand Wizard Bukake, your host. Alyn, Honor System, and Declan are battling through the Citadel's concourse. Declan blasted a bar full of executives with a tripod gun. Alyn ate 4 executives before the 5th killed himself to escape her, and Honor System became a whirlwind of blades in a robot duel. But can they survive the wave of drone defenders the mercenary has summoned? Find out next on Dum-Dums and Dragons 2099.
The last executive, having folded in half after being shot in the back by Honor System while trying to escape, has left you with a massive open concourse full of blaring alarms, spinning lights, and one mercenary who has set all of this in motion. You know that she is hunkered down in the comm station and has triggered a base-wide alarm indicating where you have gotten to, making you no longer just the problem of the low-level execs trapped in here with you, but now the problem of all available drone fighters on the base. Honor System had just taken his turn, which means Declan, it's your move. You are pressed against the statue of Jacinda Bezos that dominates the center of the concourse. You have a turret that is now broken. It's reading jammed in the way that like all good video game turrets do after you have your 2 minutes of Master Chief fun of carrying it around, blasting everything. You saw the trooper run into the comm station a while ago, so you are aware that was kind of their last known location, so you can move there if you want. That said, the blast doors are still down, which is likely going to become a rather large problem for all of you very, very soon. You also haven't seen Alyn in a bit, so those are questions. What do you do?
Yeah, he's heard screaming, so he assumes Alan's having a nice time. System's going for the one in comms. Declan would like to move over and check some of the dead bodies of the breach team.
Sure.
Would it be possible to get one of their suits off and put it on? Like the big armor piece, so we could try to blend in and look like he'd be on staff instead of somebody bursting into the room and being like, problem guy.
If you can take out the one in the comms room, you might be able to sneak into her outfit. Unfortunately, the 3 that are members of the breach team, like between being electrified and then being mulched by the remainder of the gear, you could put it on, but it looks pretty rough.
Okay,
it's very much like, you know, in a spy movie or a war movie where it's like the Nazi uniform, but like there's clearly bloody bullet holes, and it's like, no, I'm one of you guys. It's fine.
Okay, so our best bet is outfit and comms and possibly guy who barfed into own helmet and then I shot in the face. Those are my 2 options.
I mean, the helmet's not so clean, but the shirt is fine. Yes, he's fine. Just the grenade blew up the other barricade, but his body is at the one that you came up at. Perfect. So it's fine.
System, do you need help taking out the one mercenary in the fucking comms room?
I should be all right. How do we get the blast doors open?
I'm going to work on that right now. If you could do me a favor and just, try not to shred the fucking suit in there, we could perhaps steal those and try to play a little dress up. But, I mean, priorities don't get fucking shot. And then Declan will go to take a look at the doors. He'll also come over to Alyn and just be like, if you could find any of those fucking nanopacks on anybody who's dead, I guarantee you we need them for fucking system.
There are plenty of dead over here to search. I'm on it.
Perfect. And then, yeah, he just is going to go to that fucking door and try to open that. I guess he doesn't have his hacker's kit anymore. So
do you want to try and like kit bash one? Because the thing is, with all these dead execs now and their luggage, like as we know, there's like one legit like health potion kicking around that Alyn kind of like magicked out earlier, but also they're traveling with a bunch of their gear, so there's like iPal bits to spare if you want to try and bash together.
Yeah, I think that'll be his first priority. If one of them's got like a tablet of some kind, he can totally. Plug into the Wi-Fi and download his own hacked system that he's definitely got somewhere on the net. Just try to put his shit together would be great.
Yeah, it's on the X-Japan forums with everything else. Okay, so Declan, let's say I think we're going to do this in. Okay, yeah. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to do this in a couple steps.
Okay.
The key here being that I don't think I'm going to make you roll to hack the door. Instead, I'm going to make you roll to see how long it takes you to put together the hacking device. I feel like opening this thing, because it isn't the alarms are in place now, but this was meant to prevent against vacuum and to like close down the hyperloop when they need to close it down, not really to withstand like an assault. Yeah. So let's start with, I think, probably an investigation, I would say, or maybe I would take investigation or streetwise. And this is just for you looting bags and everything else to see like what kind of stuff. I guess
it's
I would
10.
10? Okay. So yeah, they've got the stuff, but unfortunately so much of it is the cheap, as you've been seeing, kind of the cheap over the counter shit. That you're gonna have disadvantage to slap it together because all of the parts are slightly too proprietary or slightly the wrong shape or slightly less powerful than what you actually need. So it's gonna take a lot of jury rigging. It's that classic, like, you can't get an Apple phone apart without like heat gunning it to remove the glue. It's that kind of shit where it's just all of it's built to kind of be disposable. But you do gather what you need. It's just not an ideal form. So I'm imagining this is you just like looting bags, like dumping briefcases and like satchels and, like rolling corpses over and looting their pockets, and just kind of carrying like an armful of electronics, dumping them in front of the door. I assume like behind the statue, so you've got cover and starting to sort through.
Or if he's building there, he's probably building it on the bar and moon unit. It's a nice flat surface at
amazing.
Chest height. Also, not in front of any direct openings.
Yeah, that sounds good. And I mean, admittedly, like your favorite aromatherapy situation is going on. The blood of your enemies just drifting in the air. The smell of ozone in the morning from your gun. So yeah, great. So you get to work on that. Alyn, you watch a perfectly good meal go to waste as it slides down the wall, having blown his own head open. But you get the call from Declan, so immediately you have purpose, you have a job. How do you go about searching for nanopacks? And or that potion you heard?
Yeah, I mean, I'll try to magic out the potion again to see if I can get a more specific read on where it is. And otherwise it's like search the pockets of all the execs, look to see if in the diner there's any like health kit or anything, you know, like an emergency med kit or anything that's available there.
I like that. So let's go with investigation, please.
All right.
This is slightly more
25.
methodical. Yep, great. Okay, so I'm gonna say with the 25. Oh wow! I rolled a 6. So you find 6 nano patches.
Yeah.
We'll say that's like the health kit. You open it up, and there's just a bunch of nano packs, which again can heal either system or the two of you. And with a number that high, I think, kind of like getting a sense of all these complaining execs, you just start like looting their luggage, and sure enough, someone has a secreted bottle in a flask of a more potent healing elixir. For the purposes of this, we'll say if you dump it on honor system, it will, because it is imbued with actual magic. Mm-hmm. It obviously can't knit his organic flesh, but just if it soaks in, it'll refill his health, which I think in our purposes would mean like it's almost like spraying a varnish on something. Gotcha. Like it just provides enough of a shell to prevent the immediate damage.
Is that like standard, like 2d4 plus 2?
What with the nanopacks we've been going with, refresh my memory, what's the nanopack situation been so far?
They're 2d4 plus 2 is what they've been.
Oh, so they've just been a healing potion. Cool.
Yeah. So for the healing potion, then we'll say 2d6
healing?
plus 4.
What?
So it's one real good heal for one of you.
Hot damn.
Are you doing okay? I know you were getting vampiric touch and kind of getting like a.
I mean, this seems like a conversation to have after we deal with that final mercenary.
You're right.
I'll pocket everything for later sharing.
Yeah, Billy Fingers is in there just moving things around like it's a Resident Evil inventory,
yeah.
just like sliding things, turning it to make sure it's like most effectively tucked away. Okay, great. So that brings us to the mercenary. Ooh, top of the round. Honor system.
I want to close the rest of the distance to the comms room, and I want to get up beside the, I guess, like the doorway, and do that very, very cool stylistic thing that people with swords do, and hold it up to see if I can like look through the reflection from cover to see if I can spot anyone waiting in ambush in there.
Cool. So I'm going to need a stealth check for you as you run up, because she definitely has an action prepped, but she can't do it if she doesn't see you.
That's a dirty 20 for stealth.
Damn, she got a 19. So yep, you pull in and you slide the blade of Legion kind of out to see if you can see a glimmer where she is. And just immediately there's a spray of SMG fire that probably doesn't hit Legion, because I imagine like if you weren't expecting to see a sword, it's just like you see a glint of metal, you just start spraying.
Right.
So bullets kind of tear up the wall beside you. And you hear assorted curses in unfamiliar tongues, but like the intent is very clear.
Okay. How would you say my movement is if I've come this far to the comms room? Can
This
I
would
go
have
in
been
further?
the remainder of your movement would have been to get to.
Okay.
Like your movement would end when you reach the wall.
Okay, so then I'm not able to go in any further. So I am just trying to spot this person so that I can.
Oh, you get the spot. Like you know. Where
Okay,
she
I
is.
know
You
exactly where
can
she is.
triangulate
Okay.
between the fire and what you saw in the blade. Yeah, she had a prepped action for anyone coming through the door. So
Okay.
a sword came through the door. You
Right.
know, as you do.
I guess just to like for the purposes of like making the most of it, I will fire off my SMG at this person. See if I
Okay,
can
great. So just like
get some shots in.
blind fire around the corner. Great.
Yeah.
So are you leading out to do this, or are you?
Yeah, I would be leaning out. If
Okay.
she's like fired off her burst, I would like wait for the pause and then pop out to fire back.
Okay, great. So you're gonna be firing at disadvantage because she's in like heavy cover. But otherwise, go ahead.
13, 11. So we'll use the 11 plus 10, 21.
Fuck yeah,
hit.
that'll hit. Plus
Okay.
10. My God.
Yeah.
Why do I even show up?
Because I'm almost dead.
Well, this place can't have that many more cafeterias, right?
I have been fighting since that warehouse on Earth.
It's almost like someone built a gauntlet scenario. But who could have done such a thing? I bet he's
4,
handsome.
5, 6, 7, plus 5, 12 damage.
12 damage. All right. You hear just kind of like a yelp of pain, and the sound of a body falling over.
Okay. We're not really in an initiative order right now, right? We're just kind of playing this.
Well, we were actually still in
Oh,
initiative,
sorry. Okay.
but we can drop out now because you shot her and she stopped shooting back.
Okay. Then I would just go in to check on her and the condition of her armor to see if Declan can use it.
Mm-hmm.
I did probably riddle her with bullets, unfortunately.
You did, but that's less an issue than the pinless grenade she's holding. So I need a reflex save from you, sir, as she raises a middle finger with one hand and a grenade with the other.
That is an 18.
18. Okay, so you will manage to get out in time. That said, you will still take half damage, as is the way of traps in this system, as in all systems. All right, so that is 8. Dear D8, where? There you are. All right. 4. So that is 12 points of damage. So cut in half, so 6 points of damage.
Okay.
As the you do the classic like step forward, oh shit, step back as the room explodes, blows out the windows, and the room kind of collapses in on itself behind you.
Okay.
You got damage to spare though, right? So now we can really drop out of initiative order. But I'm gonna say you have. Gotta roll dice for this. Okay. You're gonna have 2 rounds before the drones arrive. So even though we're out of initiative order, keep in mind all of you have I don't really care what order you do it in, but you all have 2 actions. Blah 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 blah. Your movement's unrestricted within this area, but in terms of actual cool things you want to do, you get 2 before the assholes show up.
Okay.
System,
I
are
know.
you alive?
I think again, weird to hear, but the sound of labored breathing as honor system emerges from the rubble and the dust settling. It says, "Yes, I am still here."
Alyn, he sounds fucked up. If you could just go slap every one of those fucking things. He's just still working at the Apple store. He's just working away on this bench, but
Gotta
talking
work
as he
that
does it.
genius bar.
Declan, do you need anything?
No, I'm fucking fantastic, strangely enough. It turns out the guy with the sword who's running towards the enemy tends to get shot a lot more than me.
All right. So Alyn will run over to honor system and just fan out the 6 nanopacks and just say, take what you need.
But eat what you take.
System, this is not a time to be shy. Fucking take it.
Thank you, Alyn. Are you well?
Well, and Alyn pulls out the magical potion, and says, I am reserving this one for me. Actually, do you know what? I'm just going to take this right now. And Alyn just goes and drinks it.
Good. I'm glad. And I will start administering nanopacks. We said that the nanopacks are 2d4 plus 2.
Yeah. Do you want me to do this really quick on my automated dice roller, Tyler? Or do you want to roll
Sure.
12
Doesn't matter to
d4?
me. I've got 4d4.
Okay. 12 d4 comes to 32 plus you had 6 then, which is another 2, which is 12. So you are at 44.
44 added. Okay.
44
Jesus
added.
Christ.
4.
I got 13 added for me.
I got a rock. All right, so system, I'm imagining now we're reaching the point of almost duct tape patches over a fixed skateboard where it's just grip tape being used to kind of hold bits in. You're feeling more hardy, more hale, but the damage is moving past a point of just
Yeah,
cool,
the robe is in tatters, right? That he was wearing. It is not really viable as clothing anymore. But he still wears it as best he can.
I mean, that's been true of every robe I've ever owned. It just reaches a point where I'm like, this is barely clothes, but here we are. Awesome. Okay. So while they're doing that, let's check in on Radio Shack. Declan, let's go ahead with your at disadvantage roll to see how you kit bash. I'm going to say probably robotics. Are you a robotics or a mechanics guy?
Robotics.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So let's go with that. That makes the most sense for me, I think. Unless you want to go engineering, which I could also.
No, we'll go robotics. Man, good rolls. That's a 21. I rolled a 19 and a 14 and a plus 7, so 21.
So despite the you're not the kind of work person who blames their tools, despite the kind of general shittiness of what you've got, you managed to slam it together real fast. So with one action, you're able to put it together. You can use your other action on the door if you see fit.
I do. He would like to hack the door, please. There are drones coming. He would like to not be here.
Great. So as Honor System and Alyn move to meet you, You quickly patch in, and immediately, like there's kind of the heavy grinding of gears. It's a very classic, like, usually in a video game there's a boss fight behind this. Happily, the boss was stuck on this side this time, which was handy. So the door starts to kind of like slowly separate from the center. So you do have a moment or two as this is happening where you can kind of catch up with each other. That isn't like this door doesn't take like 1,000 years. It takes a little while to get to a point where you can actually all get hustle up and through it. But you do have a moment to check in with each other, because I know I denied that to you earlier, so I'm gifting it to you now. So before the doors open and before the drones arrive, is there anything you say or do?
So how's everyone doing? How's everyone feeling?
Much better now. Thank you, Alyn. Thank you, Declan.
Yeah, of course. I'm honestly just sick of like fighting our way through here, and kind of just want to blow the whole thing if we can.
I completely agree. So we've got every drone theoretically available coming at us, probably from in front of us, not behind. I'll still close this behind us and lock it, because where the fuck are we going to go? I think our priority here needs to be moving fucking quickly, because if they bog us down and lock us in a room, we're right fucked.
Yes, I agree.
I don't know what the fuck's happening. We don't have a map. Alyn, do you have any way for us to figure out who the fuck we need to go to kill the bee-man and your mum?
Ryan, I will actually say, based on the shit you smashed together, you probably do have a basic map now.
Correction. I have a map, so let's look at it and figure out how to kill the bee-man and your fucking mum. He's going to pull up the map to try to figure out where the fuck they want to go.
So it's not great. It's like a PDF of the Citadel, and unfortunately, it's very much a PDF map of it's like a convention center that they don't really expect you to go to. But based on a quick look, the place you ultimately need to end up is the penthouse hive. Or the hive quarters, as it's listed on the map. It is the north. We're in space. It's obviously the apex of the Citadel. You saw it from outside. It's absolutely where Jacinda Bezos will be, and seems to control the entire operation from. You're currently in the concourse level. Declan, from a quick kind of tactical view of this, you can guess with some confidence as to the route that drones will have to sort of siphon into from security and that sort of thing. And it actually leads you on a pretty easy pathway up. You can see kind of where central, where the Primer Hood launch control is. You can see where the Zeus cannon control are. Both of those are heavily guarded, as you would imagine, and are in the direct path of these drones. But less in their way are the labs. There's a massive lab complex that actually seems to run up the back of the Citadel and could likely get you a bit of the verticality you need. So from a quick tactical readout, the lab is absolutely the way to go.
Fabulous. Haven't taken a look. I think what we're going to do is go through Science Town so we can shoot the bee-man. He's at the top. Every other way has a fucking army in it.
That works for me.
I hate evil scientists. How about you guys?
Hate.
Yes. Evil
Yes.
scientists, yes.
I hate them. Yes.
Perfect. All right. So we're not going to take any extra time. Alyn, you seem concerned.
No, I'm just honor system seem concerned at hating. Like, it's okay to hate things.
Just a novel sensation. I like it. It drives me.
I will say,
at
it
doing
keeps
that.
you fucking focused, doesn't it?
Yes, it
All
does.
right. So we'll kill every scientist we can, but we won't let killing them slow us down, because if we kill the bee-men, we can probably just vent the atmosphere from the whole fucking building and everyone dies who's not us.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
Alyn, do you have any magical abilities we should be aware of? Do you have some way to like blood track your mum so we don't shoot her or whatever?
Honestly, like, I think Alyn kind of tries to like sense the weave and feels that she has like, it's there, but she's pulled a lot out and can't access a whole lot. Look, I'm like, I have some basic stuff, some basic kind of like close range kind of combat things that I can do. But I at this point, I'm not going to be able to hit very hard anymore.
Okay, so if you can't touch them, then they're not gonna be fucking magic, is what you're saying.
Pretty much.
All right. Well,
I mean, I
congratulations.
can hurl some acid.
And
but-
fabulous. You got that. Or fallback plan. And he's just going to reach down to one of the dead mercenaries and pick up their SMG and a couple of clips and be like, there's always ballistic weapons. These things are nice and reliable when you get sleepy. Here you go. Take this. Take these.
And I don't know that Alyn's ever held a gun.
Oh, Declan definitely taught
We
you
did.
to handle a gun when you were in
Yeah. Oh,
2099.
right. We did. Last time Alyn was
on a
here.
very
Hell yeah.
special 2099.
Yeah.
You're ready to say no, and then we both do a sepia-toned flashback to like him as like an awkward dad figure, and you as an awkward, more teenage version of Alyn, just not quite as sure with like rifles and shit in a basement.
Honestly, just like peers in the door, sees what's going on, shakes his head, nods, and then carries on.
And like Declan's advice is all horrifyingly sociopathic, where he's like, the head or the groin. One of them takes him out of the game. The other one, they just keep screaming until their friends expose themselves.
Except that Alyn is like really in the mode of like Tiffany Rathburn. And so everything she's just doing is like she's gone method and like, okay, but the reload time is like really long. So how do you make it more efficient?
It makes it harder to work with you, but I appreciate what you're doing.
Perhaps if we found a slightly better reload mechanism, then perhaps Mistress Xanthus would be better at reloading. I'm sorry, I meant Tiffany. That's right, it's me, Bourbon Sherbert, the survivalist Robert, definitely alive.
Definitely going to survive.
It's the one thing we can say about you, Bourbon. You're never going to die. All right.
It's true. And it just spins around happily, shooting little sparks.
We go back to shooting mannequins in the balls. And then we cut back to the present where you have an SMG.
Amazing. So the doors open and you find yourselves in a legitimately very beautiful space. And again, I think like Declan, the fact that this is a beautiful space makes all of this even more frustrating because it's like, for all of the horror, you still took the time to design this space. So this is a massive atrium with kind of a beautiful central sort of like series of lift platforms that almost looks like there's cylindrical, looks almost like a revolver barrel. So just kind of a massive column of smaller tubes, all of which is kind of a different shimmering metallic sort of a tube, almost like a filigreed pipe organ, like just beautiful thing, each in a slightly different color that kind of it reach up into the sky or into the ceiling rather. It feels very large. It's about a 3-story room you're standing in. Obviously, there's more important stuff above you. You can also see that sort of off to your left and right, there are routes. If you think about like a hotel lobby, it's kind of that vibe where there's like the functional parts of the hotel that the hotel needs to make your stay nice are visible enough to you from where you are, but are also tucked away enough as to not be to not encroach on the space. But you can imagine that's likely where things like Primerhood launch, all those sorts of things are kind of like tucked off in the complex on the moon's surface of this ground floor rather than stacking them up. Because the fancy fuckers get to go up, everyone else can kind of just chill out down here. From here, you can see, whereas the alarm lights in the concourse were very loud and industrial, in here, it's almost like the emergency lights in an apartment stairwell, where it's just like low blinking blue lights at every door. You can see that the elevators are all very much locked. And there are sort of hidden vent hatches opening in the ceiling, and as you walk in, they're all starting to open, and you can hear kind of the rumble and thump of metallic things, basically like pinballing down these shafts. They seem to be kind of like quick access drop points. The entire area is lit in kind of a calming blue light. It almost seems like you're underwater. There's just kind of a beautiful shimmering sense of movement and various blues. And there's just, and again, odd details that irk you. There's a really nice carpet. The entire thing is just really nicely carpeted in kind of a red and gold with Amazon logos, at appropriately classy distances, but enough to give you the brand. There are also those weird like standing signs, not quite A-frames, but like the standy ones that you see at convention centers that have very much like welcome executives to the world of tomorrow, and like remember, hive thinking is the only thinking. Other thinking will not be tolerated, and like all the messaging you saw.
Alyn says out loud.
And the three of you just book it. You book it across this space. It really is one of those kind of like tight but still manageable timelines where like you can see the vents opening, you can hear the drones coming, but you're still able to just run through this lobby. There's no one here. It would seem that everyone of import has gone to their appropriate location, and they certainly didn't want to let the riffraff through. There are also, of course, like the various places that aren't open. You can see there's kiosks and things that aren't active yet. But the good news with the lab is being kind of an add-on facility. It has a sort of a separate lift and separate set of stairs. So Declan, according to the schematics you've looked at, a softer target, because it would be a strange point to like, it's a strange route to take, realistically, and it won't get you all the way to the apex. It'll just get you up a few floors. But right now, that's all you need. So the three of you book it across the space, and you arrive at the labs. Can I get a perception check from all three of you, please?
Oh, nat 20. Isn't that nice?
Ooh, that's
24
not
for
very
Declan.
high. Perception. 10.
Perception. Cool. So honor system. You immediately are able to identify that this lab is old. It's older than the rest of the facility by quite some. The architecture is different in a lot of ways. It's like when Toronto's notorious for this, but when someone builds like a glass tower around a heritage building, so much more innately carved, a lot more stone, and you can see. Kind of, because he rolled extraordinarily well, tucked away inside the metallic, again, like the sort of classic Star Trek doors, there's clearly a sculpture piece they weren't quite able to work around. And you see just enough to see kind of a bulbous head carved into it, with kind of long twisting tentacles kind of coming out of its chin and lower face. No mouth. Just kind of a sloped face into that. Alyn, you would, of course, recognize this, but Honor System and Declan, Mind Flayers don't exist really in 2099 that you're aware of. So this would just look like a kooky sculpture, kind of like when people do like, the God of Wind or something, and it's just like a dude with his cheeks puffed out, just an odd piece. But Alyn, you would absolutely recognize this as the carved visage of a Mind Flayer.
A god of the sea, perhaps. Strange to find it on a moon base.
Well, I mean, they kind of hang out underground where I'm from.
Wait, so your god of the sea is from underground? I just want to remind you, we all need to keep moving while we talk.
They're
just
illithids.
I think we can assume this conversation is happening as you're like moving up to the door and Declan, you're hacking it. Just
okay,
for
Alyn,
cinematic sake.
For illithid, let's just skip to the point where you explain it as though we're school children who don't know what you're talking about.
And I proceed to explain.
Great. So in the sense that only Declan or Honor System would properly track of this, she explains illithids as highly powerful psychers. Psychics. We're not in 40K. But yes, highly intelligent, incredibly capable species from Dumb Faerun.
Xanthus was ripping their hearts out, right?
Xanthus was ripping the heart out of.
Fuck me.
He ripped the heart out of himself, but it was gussied up as part of an illithid cult.
Never mind.
No, it was all part of the same adventure. And you were there, and you were there, and you were there.
Juniper was there, I think. I think
Juniper
know.
was there.
Well, regardless, Alyn would be aware of illithids just from like, I feel like the Temple of Ogma being like, we're going to teach you a lot of information would be like, also, There are some people who really like information, and the way they do it is by sucking your brain out of your skull and eating it. So, like, just heads up, Ogma's not great with that.
So,
Burp, burp.
Alan, how do we defend ourselves from the psychic fucking powers? We have to put like tinfoil on our heads. I've heard that works. I don't know. A lot of people say stupid shit and it turns out to be real.
Honestly, the best defense is to shoot them before they have the chance.
Well, that may be my fucking specialty. All right, let's just keep
Tom,
moving forward.
Would I know of anything in particular that would defend
that's
against
what you
them?
would
That's
know
kind
about.
of just
Like,
it, right?
If they try and get you, kill them before they
Yeah.
can put their tentacles on your head and rip out your brain. Again, like,
roll really
unfortunately-
high initiative.
Yeah, they're just one of many threats, and like you probably during the war may have encountered one at some point. But yeah, cool. So you rush up, hack the door. Immediately, you enter one of those little decontamination chambers that just kind of hisses and sprays disinfectant at you in kind of a mist. It's a little bit like a Pepsi Cool Zone, but like a really, really healthy one. At which point the second doors open, and you find yourself at what is clearly a reception, a small reception area of some sort. You can tell from both the schematic and looking at this that the majority of the labs are on the second and third floor of this structure, but clearly there's some administrative purposing down here. You immediately note that the desk, it does not match the kind of like carved out of the face of the moon vibe of the exterior wall that's been built into the larger citadel. It's clearly been added later. It's a sort of a massive wooden desk. You can see a scattering of tablets as well as a lot of paper scattered around. The desk looks like it hasn't been disturbed in some time. Beyond the desk, as is often the way in such buildings, sort of two doors lead further into the facility. From the schematic you saw, Declan, there's no detail to this. It's just like gray box, gray box, gray box. But there were stairs that you can easily take. There is an elevator, but no.
We don't want to die in a box. Yeah, we're not doing that shit. Declan will continue, I think, to take point, because if somebody's on the lookout for like traps or ambushes, I think he's got the best shot of spotting those. So he'll just lead the way towards the doors, trying to take in as much of the environment as he can. But this is tactical movement. We can't stop moving or we're fucked.
Totally. And Alyn and Honor System, how are you moving through the space?
Honor System's of the same mind as Declan. I was like, sure, yep, take in that description, but also where are the exits? We need to keep moving. Jacinda Bezos is not here. That's
Yep.
Yeah.
Alan's doing a passive arcana check.
Cool. So Laura, can you roll me? Let's make that an active rather than a passive
sure.
as you're walking.
Yeah, sure thing.
Just feel like active checks are always more fun than me. Just people like, oh, a number that I get to know.
Yeah. 10.
10. Okay, so this building feels like a toothache. It is just a like that dull, constant and like distracting amount of latent magical energy, but not there's no focal point to it. It's just that dull throb, but you can feel it kind of all around you,
Like all around me in the air, or all around me as in like, am I feeling it like in items, in
all around you
objects?
is in you rolled a 10, so it's like there's radio static playing and you can hear it everywhere, but you have no idea where the radio is or what station it's on.
Yep.
Sorry, pal.
All right. What are my stats for the submachine gun?
It'll be, what is
I've got it right here.
I
So
use Dex.
Dex plus proficiency if Declan taught you, maybe, if
Yep.
Tom's generous.
yep, I would take that.
Oh, that's nice. Okay.
And Laura, yours is going to be a 2d4.
Oh, you got the baby SMG.
Yeah.
Plus Dex if it's a...
Plus 2? Plus dex? Cool. All right, that ain't bad. Thank you.
You are welcome. Cool. So moving through the space, the nice thing is the good and bad to this tactically Declan is because it is clearly an older building. There aren't like robo vents that are just going to drop drones in. Also, admittedly, it will take some time to sort out what the fuck happened with the concourse, because you could, in theory, have gone back down the shaft. There's the train that's blocking stuff. Like, there's a lot of different factors at play that might keep them off you for a few minutes. So you have an incredibly tense, definitely like well planned, but ultimately uneventful move through the lobby space of the lab. It's one of those like awful tensions that doesn't get resolved. You make your way through, and you arrive at the stairs. The stairwell is empty. There doesn't really seem to be much traffic here. Unlike the front desk, you can see that the stairs have seen use lately. I think you could probably tell that from the lobby as well. It's not like this is an abandoned building. It's just that there's clearly no one at reception and hasn't been in quite some time. How would you like to proceed with this stairwell situation?
Stairwell situation would probably be let honor system with the sword take point. When we get to floors where there's a landing, Declan would probably stay by the door, allow them to continue up, so he's behind Alyn to just like cover ass. Alyn in middle, system takes point.
So
if that makes sense to the group.
Yep, stairs is like tight, so it makes sense to me that Mealy would be going first.
Yeah, from the schematics you've got, the stairs will take you to the second floor. The lab itself is 2 stories, and there's kind of like a catwalk scenario inside. So you can make your way up and like probably like break a window or something and make your way back into the main facility from there. But it's not like I should be more clear about this. It's not like a multi-layered stairwell. So with that in mind, honor system, if you can go ahead and roll me a stealth to see how you creep up these stairs, that would be great.
15.
Okay, so you're able to start making your way up. Alyn, you're in the middle. Again, still feeling that arcana. Ryan, can you roll me a perception to see and I'll give you advantage because you probably have your scope that you can peek down.
He's also got his robot eye that lets him see everything at twice visual.
Oh, hey. Well, then fuck that scope. Just use your robo eye. But yeah, just get a sense of like what's going on back in the atrium and...
It's a nat 20, baby.
Ooh. You can see everything. So Declan, in the atrium, you see again the mix of robotic and humanoid troops, drones, dropping down through the vents, either fast roping or a couple of them have those jetpacks that they're using outside, but having to really like use them in a more classic Boba Fett way, where it's like you just can tap them to slow your descent. You can't really fly because there's gravity in here. And immediately they sort of spread out, and you can see them blitzing towards the control centers. You can see troops coming from those directions, but the majority of their motion is leading them back into the concourse. So you see just like a bunch of them take up tactical positions. Did you close the door behind you on your way through?
Yeah.
Okay, so they're like using key cards to activate it, taking up positions, setting up little barricades. This nice tranquil atrium is very quickly becoming like a hard point. But you can tell they're in like search and destroy mode. There is a team making its way back towards the lab, but given that the lab is realistically the least tactically viable thing for them right now, it's not a huge concern. It's like 2 guys doing the back to back like walk and aim, but they also have to check their corners on the way through because again they don't really know if anyone's here. Is there anything you want to do about this, or are you just going to sneak up the stairs?
I don't think he's had time to do anything tremendously clever, and to shoot someone is just to reveal which direction you're coming in. So I think all that happens is as he's backing up the stairs with Alyn behind him, he's taking out his silencer because he has a silencer for his pistol and for his rifle, and he's just screwing those on. So if they're coming towards him, he can shoot, because in future, silencers are what movie silencers are, which just means no one can hear him fire a gun further than 10 feet away.
Dude, I've played Perfect Dark. I know exactly what that silencer sounds like in the future. It's great. Okay, amazing. So I also just love that visual of like 1, 2.
Yep. Big gun, little gun. Everything gets silencer.
Okay, amazing. So with that, the team kind of creeps up the stairwell. Honor system, you make it to the top landing. And there's a door with like a push bar. It's not a sexy Star Trek door, it's just a push bar door. That's clearly been like crudely drilled into this stone structure. And it's propped open. There's a book jammed under the door, like covers ripped, the pages are all askew, propping the door open. And beyond it, you can see a sort of a massive cylindrical 2-story lab space. This is very like you can feel humidity coming off it. There's sort of jungle vibes to it. It's got kind of big leafy plants. You can see a catwalk with stairs kind of at the far end that kind of coil up and around it in kind of a beautiful swirl. A lot of tables, a lot of monitors set up, schematics. You see drawings, old kind of yellowed drawings that have been pinned to a wall. And again, this is just a quick glance. Once you actually get in there, you can take a better look. But just at a glance, you can see that sort of vibe. There's a massive chalkboard that's stretched across. And you hear a metallic clicking as you look through, and a somewhat heavy-set figure, at least from the waist up, is doing some kind of crude calculations on the board, but is also holding a long pipe in one hand. You're kind of like environmental scanners are picking up just narcotics burning at a high rate. He's got kind of curly hair from the back. He's wearing some kind of floral shirt that's sort of stained and wetted down.
God, Tom.
But from the waist down, he is on a metallic spider legs. And he's got just a tiny weird hat propped atop his head. And as you look in, Dr. Moreau turns and just says, "Intruders, get them!" And with that, Mr. Mittens leaps at you, and we enter combat.
What?
This episode of Dum Dums and Dragons 2099 features the voices of Ryan LaPlante at the Ryan LaPlante on Twitter, Tyler Hewitt at Tyler_Hewitt on Twitter, Laura Hamstra at EL Hamstring on Twitter, and our DM Tom McGee at McGeeTD on Twitter. This episode's sound was edited and mixed by Laura Hamstra. The system we're playing is Carbon 2185, and Dum Dums and Dragons artwork is by Del Borovic, who can be found at delborovic.com. Our theme songs are Core Collapse and Sanctuary of the Sky Gods by Nathaniel Yaverne, and our ad music is No Control and Chiefs by Jazzar, JAHZZAR, all available at freemusicarchive.org. When it comes to Dum Dums and Dice, you can visit our website at dumdumdice.com. Our Twitter and Instagram are at dumdumdice, and on Facebook at facebook.com/dumdumdice. But most importantly, we've got merchandise at redbubble.com/people/dumdumdice, or you can join our Patreon at patreon.com/dumdumdice. That's DUMBDICE. Now I'm off to do future things before we return for the next episode of Dum Dums and Dragons 2099. Dum Dums and Dice has to give a special thank you to the supreme beings of our Patreon at this time. The Half-Blind Prophet, Christopher Little, Sue One, George Dolby, Richard Cranium, Sammy Boy, Orion Birchfield, Scott Garland, Benjamin V, Gavin and Abby McDonald, Logan, Fire Unfriendly, Acrix, Grandma Likes D&D, Alyn, Austin Nut Powers Fry, Stabby Stranger, Glitch Trick, Roman Brown, Shulzari, Christian Mendez, Spot Allen, Flynn 1138, Alarain Okapi, OMG It's Big Nick, Steve Wees, D&D and Things, and Jill and Noel LaPlante. If you want your name to be added to this list, you can join our Patreon too at patreon.com/dumbdumbdice. Thanks to them, and a little bit of thanks to you.